Hey folks, welcome back. Pop Retro 1 at Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/PopRetro1. That's where you can find me on social media. Also Patreon.com/PopRetro. You can find me there if you want to check it out. Wanted to, as quickly as I can, just show you my most recent haul from Vinegar Syndrome and OCN Distribution, the partner labels that I received. So I have 12 packages here, 12 items, 12 movies, and I want to try to do this within about 10 minutes. You think I can do this in 10 minutes? Of course I can't. I never can, because I wind up talking too much. And the problem with Vinegar Syndrome is even when I'm just trying to do show and tell, because you know, I'm not doing reviews here, I'm just showing you what I got. With Vinegar Syndrome, you've got slip covers upon slip covers covered in slip covers. So it's just all these layers of slip covers. So the packaging is so elaborate that it often takes a little bit longer for each one just to go through and show you what's inside. So now that I've wasted a whole minute and 10 seconds telling you all that, let's dig in. All right, number one, the first one up is from 1987, Miami Connection. Now this is a, is it a UHD? Yes, UHD version of this film that came out, well, it came out in 1987 technically, but the story behind it was that like the Alamo Draft House people or whatever found a print on eBay and just took a chance on it and bought it, and they wound up producing or showing it in theaters, as well as producing a Blu-ray version of it back in like 2012, I think. So, and I have that version, actually. It was close by, so there's the old version that I have. So this is the upgraded version from Vinegar Syndrome. So take a look at that art. You can kind of compare it to the old art there. There you go. And there's a look at the back side. And of course, inside is another slip cover. So that's a slip cover. There's the back. Just late 80s fun action adventure trash that I just love this stuff. It'll be fun to revisit. And there's a look at the actual case. There's a look at the back. Now this one actually includes, let's see here, there are 3 discs. Disc 1, Disc 2, and Disc 3. Now this third disc, Escape from Miami, which is like an alternate cut of the film. Let me see what it says here. The original pre-release version of Miami Connection, newly restored from 35mm interpositive. So yeah, it's a different version, and I think it also says it has some added scenes, okay, numerous additional and extended scenes, as well as a completely different ending. So that will be fun to watch if you were into this movie and into this sort of thing, and you didn't get that with the old release. So there's also a reversible slip cover. Let's see what that looks like. And, oh, there it is. It's the same art as on the old Draft House release. So there it is. So that's cool. In fact, I'll probably flip that artwork over and use that artwork on the case that really I'll never see because it'll be on the shelf most of the time. But so now I can, I don't know, gift the old one away. It's become a little bit of a theme lately this year with Vinegar Syndrome. A lot of films that I've already have on Blu-ray and high def that I wouldn't have upgraded otherwise, but I'm a subscriber, and so I've gotten some of these upgrades, but it's been a lot more this year than ever in the past. So it is what it is, and Miami Connection is another one. So right up next, this was a big release thriller, A Cruel Picture, a 1970s revenge flick. Now this is a regular Vinegar Syndrome release, but it looks like it's more of a special release because of the packaging. It's, you know, double-sided. There are 2 slip-covered discs inside. Let's take those out and take a look. Well, let's not look at the back because it's not appropriate for the YouTube censors. So let me take a look at these. These are okay, it looks like. So you've got Thriller, A Cruel Picture. In this one, let's take it out. Also 4K Ultra HD. There it is. There's two. You got the Blu-ray and the 4K. And then the other one, the second package, is They Call Her One Eye, which was like an alternate US cut, I think, or something. There's a look at the back. Banned by Swedish censorship. What's going on over there in Sweden? Come on, guys. Okay, so They Call Her One Eye. And gosh, I can't remember exactly what the difference was. I think maybe it was a well, just look online. It'll come back to me when I read it. But I remember trying to track this down years ago, but I don't remember much about watching it, and so it'll be fun to at least check it out again. Here's a look at the discs for this. Also a Blu-ray and a Ultra HD. Now, Vinegar Syndrome says they're going to release a scaled-down package for this for people who missed it, or for people who didn't want to pay for the more lavish version, the big version. So there's going to be a single version of just the Thriller, A Cruel Picture release. So yeah, they're numbered VS 396A and 396B. So 396A, I think, is going to get a standard release for people that just want the one version, the main version of the movie. So there you go. There's a look at the. There's a pretty big package. So that'll take up some shelf space. All right. Up next, 3 more regular Vinegar Syndrome titles. Try to get through these a little quicker. Already up to 7 minutes. And I've only gone through 2. All right. This is a double feature. We've got Horror High and Stanley. A couple of early 70s exploitation picks. There it is. Stanley, I believe, was William Griffey. There was that big William Griffey set released a year or two ago by, I think, was it Severin? A lot of his films in there and just a lot of fun stuff. There's a look at the back. And a look at the discs themselves. And it looks like the reversible art just kind of mirrors what the slipcover looks like. So, all right, there you go. There we have it. What year were these ones? 1972 and 73, these films came out. Up next, some 80s cheesiness, which, right in my wheelhouse. I love it. And this is Voyage of the Rock Aliens. I mean, some of this stuff, who would have ever guessed that a lot of this stuff would be getting high definition Blu-ray releases? I would have never guessed as a kid and a teenager growing up on this stuff. So there's a look at the back. Just like a cheesy space musical type of thing. Pia Zadora stars in it. There's the actual case. Look at the back. 1980, was it 84? Yeah, 1984 on this one. There's a look at the disc and the reversible artwork. There you go. Try to get that glare off so you can take a decent look without me taking it out and having to take up a lot more time in this video than I have to. Voyage of the Rock Aliens. All right. Up next, the final Vinegar Syndrome regular line title. We've got Scared to Death. Oh, can we look at that? Okay, well, all right. I'll leave it up. I'll leave it up there. I'll leave it up there. It was just a flash, right? Let's take it out. Okay. There's the back of the case. This was William Malone, right? William Malone, his first feature, okay? He was the guy who did Creature, which Vinegar Syndrome released, his 1985 Creature feature. Another Creature feature, Scared to Death, was released in 1980. So this should be a fun flick to check out. There are 2 discs in this one. You got the regular Scared to Death, and then this one is, what did it say? Previously restored alternate version, not scanned or restored by Vinegar Syndrome. So an alternate version that they are just including that was already restored by somebody else. So that's cool. There's the reversible artwork. 4, Scared to Death. All right. See what I mean with all the slips and the cases and the slips on the slips and the reversible artwork and the packaging are just, it's just so elaborate on these that it just takes time to go through. I'm already to 11 minutes on the video or close to it. So, you know, hey, I tried. All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to go here, okay? The next up is Vinegar Syndrome Ultra, one of their sub-labels, okay? And this is the 3rd release by that sub-label, which is a very elaborate release. And this was a favorite from when I was a kid, Cloak and Dagger. And this packaging is just so, I mean, you take a look at the art all the way around. If you grew up in the 80s, you probably saw this. I believe it came out in 1986 when I was 10 years old. Let's see here. First of all, I might as well show you what I'm doing here. There's this magnet clasp thing that opens up. And then there's a ribbon down there that I accidentally cut. So there you go. So there's the ribbon. And you pull up on the ribbon. And there's the actual disc. Okay. So I'll take that out. Take a look at that. Little price tag built into the actual design there. There's actually some funny typos that I think Vinegar Syndrome made in this description. It might bother some people considering the package is so lavish, but you know, it is what it is. So another 4K Ultra HD, of course, which is what Vinegar Syndrome Ultra, VSU, actually stands for, even though they have a lot of 4K Ultra releases now, just in general. So let's look at the back. 1984. Came out in 84. So I was 8 years old. So we have the regular Blu-ray and the 4K discs. There's a look at those. And try to pull out the reversible art. There's the front art and there's the reversible art. With the Dabney Coleman and Henry Thomas of E.T. The stars of Cloak and Dagger. So fun to watch these 80s movies that you grew up on again as an adult. Sometimes with I watch them with my little nephew who's 17 now. But it's so different, just the vibe and what was allowed and what was considered a kid's movie back then, you know, and cracks me up. Here's a little better look at the overall package too. So there's the look at the inside. There's the flap that's magnetized. And that's actually a book. So pull that out. Game over. So you can see the book in there. I haven't really looked through it, but it looks pretty substantial. Lots of photos. You know, there you go. And some type, some text. So a little reading to go along with your Cloak and Dagger. I'll quickly put all this back together. Back in there. There's the ribbon. Close it up. It clasps shut, and then we have it. VSU number 3. The first 2, I believe Beastmaster was the first one. And what was the second one? Oh, the second one was that late 90s movie that I haven't watched it yet, and I've never seen it, but I have it, and I need to check it out at some point. And so it kind of seems to have mixed reviews from people in forums and online and such, but probably having to do with just the era it was made in. Of course, I can't remember what the title is, but anyhow, let's move on. Not get too far off track. Next up, we've got 2 VSA's, Vinegar Syndrome Archive. These are Blu-rays that supposedly harken back to the video store rental era, and that's why they came up with this line of films that they thought wouldn't fit as well into the regular line. And so there are a lot of these now. They are up to 24, at least 24 as far as the ones that I have. And we'll start with number 23, which is a 90s action flick. Jalal Merhi, Billy Blanks. We've got Expect No Mercy. Now, they've been putting out a slew of these Jalal Merhi films, which is pretty cool. I really enjoy 90s action, 80s action, and 90s action films. So I'm thrilled with these releases from these VSA, from the VSA line. So, and these are the ones that load from the bottom, i.e. like an old VHS, they say. And so there's a look at the case. And these always come with a poster. There's the Blu-ray disc. I won't unfold the poster in this video, but I will take out the disc. Take a look at there's the front art. There's the reverse, which of course is the reverse art on the slip proper as well. And those slips are, for the VSAs, are very hard, hard cardboard. So there's a look at the bottom. What numbers did I get? Out of 5,000, I got number 1,392. So take out, these are the ones that are kind of hard to get back into the case. So sometimes I'll take out this. I used to just be able to do it, but now I've like spooked myself. I'm like the catcher in Major League 2. He can't throw the ball back to the pitcher. Now I feel like I can't do what I used to be able to do pretty good. So I use the paper trick, so that I don't tear up the actual case, the plastic on the case. All right. Let's see here. What is next? Oh, VSA number 24, Red Surf. Now this is pretty cool. This has George Clooney. Everybody knows George Clooney. And also Doug Savant. I know Doug Savant because he was in Melrose Place, a TV show from the 90s that I liked. Dee Dee Pfeiffer. I love Dee Dee Pfeiffer. I believe it's Michelle Pfeiffer's sister. And Gene Simmons from Kiss. So there's a look at that. I should have mentioned the year. Expect No Mercy was from 1995, and Red Surf is from 1989. So there's the actual case. And the back. And of course there's a poster, because it is a VSA. Look at the disc, and look at the reverse art. There you go. A lot of times that reversible art will be taken from one of the old posters or the old VHS release or something of that nature. So there you go, Red Surf from 1989. Stick that back in its case. All right. Now we've got OCN Distribution. These are partner labels. So these are not VS labels, but the company that owns Vinegar Syndrome distributes for these smaller labels. So up first is one of the earliest. They've got like, I don't know, 1 million of these partner labels now. But one of the earliest was FCE, Fun City Editions, which has been great right off the bat, right from the beginning. And this is another one that I'm looking forward to. This is the Coca-Cola Kid from 1985. Let's look at the back. This was an Australian film. Eric Roberts. Yes, Eric Roberts is the Coca-Cola Kid. And I don't remember watching this, but it just sounds and looks right up my alley. So there's a look. There's a little booklet here, so with some information. And the reversible art. Look at that. Holding a bottle of Coke. Cola. Okay. We're not talking about, you know, any drugs here. We're talking about the soda. Of course, who knows? I haven't watched the movie yet. So, Coca-Cola Kid from Fun City Editions, 1985. Up next, we have from, I'm really excited about these. Culture Shock Releasing has also been releasing stuff that's right up my alley. A lot of 80s genre stuff. And up first is Apocalyptic Action Adventure with Game of Survival. Check that out. Look at that art. Isn't that fantastic? There's the reverse. This is from 1989. 1989, 76 minutes. Now what's cool about this is that they've actually scanned in 4K, or restored in 4K, from the old 8mm film. So this was shot on like Super 8. And so this will be really fun and interesting to watch just from that perspective. There's a look at the inside. Let's look at this reversible art. Look at those punks. Look at those post-apocalyptic punks. Look at this, the 80s punks. You know, it always reminds me of like the Terminator, you know, when Arnold meets those punks down in the subway. And just every variation on the 80s punks. Kind of like the last video I did, a review of the movie 315 from 1986. Some great punk looks in that film as well. Up next, also from Culture Shock releasing, another one. This one's from 1988. This is Death Collector. And again, I'm loving the slips on these. Death Collector is from 1988. This was shot on 16mm, new 4K scan from Tom Garrett's personal 16mm print. He's the director. Post-apocalyptic crime boss Hawk has taken over Hartford City, forcing the remaining citizens into his predatory insurance racket. The sheriff's brother, Wade, blows back into town with only his guitar and an easygoing attitude, but soon witnesses his brother's murder. So there you go, just a little taste. I didn't read the whole back of it. There's the art on that. You see some of the screenshots from the film. Let's open it up. There's the disc. And of course, some great reversible art. Always got to check it, make sure I'm not violating any YouTube laws here on this. Sorry about all the glare, but you can kind of get a look and feel for that reversible art. Death Collector from 1988. So much in this stack that I'm looking forward to watch. I'm always looking forward to watch whatever I got, but it's just a lot of fun stuff every month. But this is a really fun stack. All right, and finally, the last thing I picked up, something that's a lot of this is going to be new to me, and I only know a lot of this by reputation. But this is the films of Doris Wishman, the Twilight Years. Now, this is I believe, a volume 1 of what's going to be a multi-part collection. Doris Wishman was a exploitation director. She directed, in this set alone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 films. So there are 7 films, and this has the, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see it, the magnets. Kind of like the Cardona set that Vinegar Syndrome released, I think, a year and a half, 2 years ago. That was supposed to get a volume 2, and hopefully will eventually someday. And the sets, like the second volume, will stick to the first volume. So when you put it on the shelf, it's supposed to stick together that way. Apparently, I still haven't gotten I've not seen a second volume yet for a magnet set like this. So we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at the inside. There's another slip. And there's the case. These films range from 1970 to 1977. And just real quick, I'll name off the films. We got Deadly Weapons, Double Agent 73, The Amazing Transplant, Let Me Die a Woman, The Immoral 3, Keyholes Are for Peeping, and finally, Love Toy. So an interesting mix of titles, and hopefully an interesting mix of films on the films of Doris Wishman, the Twilight Years collection. And a nice looking collection. Oh, this is from AGFA, the American Genre Film Archive. I always forget the last word on this. AGFA, A-G-F-A. So they do great stuff. They've always done great stuff. And now that they've got OCN distributing some of their stuff, it's coming in even nicer packaging. So there you have it, folks. There's the stack of Vinegar Syndrome and partner labels from, what is this? June of 2022. And maybe a lot of, I guess these would be from May 2022, technically. I don't know. So there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. I only took 25 minutes of your time. So my next haul I will make quicker and shorter so that we can get through some of these a little faster. So hey, thanks for joining me, and come back for the next video, which I'll have up hopefully sooner than later. I'll see you then.